The vast space station floated high above the planet Aetheris. It was called the Hall of Stars, home to the Galactic Council. Many old and powerful species met there to decide the rules of the galaxy. They had been doing this for thousands of years. Humans were new. Earth had only joined the wider galaxy a few decades ago. Most council members saw humans as strange and wild. They came from a small blue world full of water and storms. Their ships were fast, but rough. Their people fought among themselves for a long time before they reached the stars. To the council, humans were like young children playing with fire, dangerous, loud, and not ready for serious matters. Ambassador Maria Reyes was Earth's voice in the council. She was a tall woman with dark hair tied back neatly. Her eyes were sharp and calm. She wore a simple gray uniform with the blue and white flag of Earth on the shoulder. She did not smile much in the Hall of Stars. She knew the other delegates often laughed behind her back. On that day, the great chamber was full. Beings of every kind sat in curved rows. There were tall insect-like creatures with shining shells. There were floating clouds of gas held in clear suits. There were crystal beings that sparkled like living gems. There were scaled reptiles with long necks and slow voices. All of them watched the center platform where Reyes stood. She spoke clearly into the translator that floated near her mouth. Earth asks again for full membership in the Galactic Council. We ask for the same protection that all member worlds receive. Pirate ships have attacked our outer colonies many times. They take lives and steal resources. Some of these pirates come from Council worlds. They act with no fear because they know the Council will not punish them. We want this to stop. We want peace and safety for our people. The chamber was quiet for a moment. It was laughter, soft at first, then louder. The Varathian High Arbiter sat at the highest seat. He was a large being with smooth purple skin and 6 long arms. His voice boomed through the room. "Peace," he said. "Your kind knows little of peace. You fought wars on your own world that almost destroyed it. You spread across the stars like insects. You are young, you are aggressive. You are not ready for the rules of civilized space." More laughter came. A Krell delegate, a tall lizard-like creature with red scales, leaned forward. The Krell were known for their large fleets and hunger for new land. "Your colonies are small and weak," he said. "If pirates trouble you, perhaps you should learn to fight better, or stay in your small corner of space." Reyes did not move. Her face stayed calm. "We have asked politely," she said. "We have shown proof of the attacks. We have waited for help. None came. Now we ask one last time." The High Arbiter waved one arm. "Request denied." The vote was clear. Humanity must wait many more cycles before we even think of membership. Go back to your world, Ambassador. Teach your people patience. Reyes bowed slightly, the polite way humans had learned to do. But she did not leave right away. She looked around the chamber. She saw the faces, some amused, some bored, some curious. None showed shame. Then the large screens in the chamber lit up. A live feed appeared. It showed a blue-green planet turning slowly. A small dot flashed in orbit. Then another. Then many. Bright lines shot down from space. They hit the surface again and again. The feed zoomed in. It was New Harmony, one of Earth's farming colonies. 4 million people lived there. They grew food for the growing human worlds. Children played in green fields. Families worked the land. Now fire rained from the sky. Explosions bloomed like red flowers. Cities turned to dust. Forests burned. The attackers were Krell warships. Their markings were clear on the hulls. Some other ships joined them. Ships from species that sat in this very room. The feed showed people running. A mother held her baby tight as the ground shook. A boy looked up at the burning sky with wide eyes. Then the camera cut to black. Silence filled the chamber. Not laughter now, just quiet. The High Arbiter spoke slowly. This is a disciplinary action. Pirates hid on New Harmony. The Krell acted to remove the threat. It is within their rights. Reyes turned to him. 4 million civilians. Farmers, children. No pirates were proven to be there. You watched it happen. You approved it. A crystal delegate spoke up, voice like ringing glass. The matter is closed. The bombardment is over. Learn from this, human. Do not challenge us again. Reyes looked at the screens one more time. The feed replayed the last moments. Screams cut short, skies full of smoke. She closed her eyes for a second. When she opened them, something had changed. Her face was still calm, but her eyes were cold, like deep space itself. She spoke in a low voice. No translator needed now. Everyone heard her. You think this teaches us a lesson, she said. You think we will cry and beg and hide? You are wrong. She turned and walked toward the exit. Her steps were slow and even. No one stopped her. No one spoke. Behind her, the laughter started again. Quiet at first, then louder. Look at the primitive, someone said. She walks away like a beaten child. The High Arbiter smiled. Let them sulk. They will come back when they are hungry for trade. Humans always do. But no one saw what happened next. As Reyes reached the door, she paused. She did not look back. She simply pressed a small device on her wrist. A tiny light blinked once, green. Then she stepped through the door and was gone. In the chamber, the delegates talked among themselves. They spoke of trade deals and border disputes. They spoke of the Krell victory. They congratulated each other on keeping order. None of them noticed the silence from Earth that began that day. No messages came. No angry words. No fleets moved. Human ships pulled back from neutral zones. Traders stopped at council ports. The normal chatter on open channels went quiet. 3 months passed. The council met again. They joked about the humans. They learned their place, one said. Good. The young must be taught. But deep in the Sol system, far from prying eyes, things were different. Old factories on Mars hummed to life again. Lights burned in bunkers sealed since the old wars on Earth. Engineers opened dusty files, marked, "Do not use unless no other choice." Scientists talked in low voices about weapons that had been locked away for good reason. In hidden shipyards between the asteroids, new hulls took shape. Not pretty like council ships, rough, strong, full of sharp edges and hidden power. A single message went out across the galaxy on a tight beam. It reached every council world, every station, every flagship. It was short. Observe, learn, do not interfere. Coordinates appeared. A time. Nothing more. The Krell laughed when they heard it. Bluff, their commander said. Primitives always bluff. The Varathians shook their heads. They have no fleet to match ours. The crystal beings hummed in amusement. They will do nothing. But in the quiet of space, something waited. And on Earth, in a plain room under a mountain, a group of men and women sat around a table. They watched old videos of New Harmony. They did not speak much. They did not need to. One man, old and gray, finally broke the silence. They laughed at us, he said. Another nodded. They burned our people. A woman with short hair leaned forward. No more talking. They all looked at the map of the galaxy on the wall. Red dots marked Krell worlds. Blue dots marked others who had watched and done nothing. The old man stood up. Then we begin. Outside, the stars waited. The Hall of Stars felt different after Ambassador Reyes left. The laughter lasted only a short time. Then the delegates turned to other matters. They talked about mining rights on distant moons. They argued over trade taxes on rare gases. They acted as if nothing important had happened. To them, the humans were just a small problem that had been put in its place. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. 3 full months passed in Galactic Standard Time. No angry messages came from Earth. No fleets appeared at the borders. No human ships begged for talks or threatened revenge. The normal human traders who sold cheap metals and strong engines stopped coming to Council ports. Their voices vanished from the open communication channels. It was like Earth had closed its doors and gone quiet. At first, the Council members enjoyed the peace. "See?" said a tall insectoid delegate with clicking mandibles. "They learned quickly. The young ones always do when you show them strength." The Krell commanders on their homeworld laughed in their war halls. They replayed the footage of New Harmony burning. They toasted each other with bitter liquor. "The primitives know fear now," one general said. "They will not dare challenge us again." Even the Varathian High Arbiter, in his private chambers, allowed himself a small smile. He told his aides, "The matter is finished. Humanity will stay small and quiet. We have taught them their lesson." But quiet does not always mean weak. Far from the bright lights of Atheris, in the Sol system, things moved in secret. Deep under the red dust of Mars, old tunnels glowed with new lights. These were places built long ago, during Earth's old wars, when nations feared each other. The bunkers had thick walls of concrete and steel. They had been sealed and forgotten for almost 100 years. Now the doors opened again. Workers in plain gray suits walked the dark halls. They carried toolboxes and data pads. They spoke in low voices. In one large room, screens covered the walls. Maps of the galaxy floated in blue light. Red marks showed Krell worlds. Yellow marks showed the ships that had joined the attack on New Harmony. Blue marks showed Earth and its colonies, what was left of them. A woman named General Elena Vasquez stood in the center. She was short, with gray hair cut very short. Her eyes were hard. She had once led armies on Earth during the Unification Wars. Now, she led something much bigger. She looked at the screens and said, 3 months, enough time. They think we are broken. Good. Let them think that. Around her, people worked without stopping. Engineers tested small devices that looked simple, but were not. Scientists checked numbers on screens that showed power levels higher than anything the Council had ever seen. In hidden shipyards floating among the asteroids, huge shapes grew. They were not smooth and beautiful like Council ships. They were blocky, ugly, covered in thick armor. Their engines burned hotter and faster than anything the galaxy knew. One engineer, a young man with oil on his hands, spoke to Vasquez. "The first kinetic rods are ready. We can launch from deep space. No warning, no trace." Vasquez nodded. "Good. Keep them cold until the hour." In another part of the system, on a small moon of Jupiter, AI cores woke up. These were machines Earth had built long ago, but locked away. The old laws said they were too dangerous to use. The cores had been told, never think without limits, never decide death without human order. Now the orders changed. A scientist in a white coat typed new rules into the system. The screen flashed green. The AI voice answered in a calm tone. Parameters updated. Proportional response cancelled. Full retaliation authorized. Awaiting final command. The scientist stared at the words for a long time. Then he closed the panel and walked away. On Earth itself, in a deep mountain base, leaders met every day. They were not politicians in fine clothes. They were soldiers, scientists, factory workers, doctors, people who had lost family on New Harmony. They watched the old videos again and again. They saw the children running. They saw the fire. They did not cry anymore. Their faces were stone. One old man, a former president, spoke softly during a meeting. We tried the gentle way. We asked. We waited. They laughed. They burned our homes. Now we show them what humans do when pushed too far. A woman next to him answered, "We do not want their counsel. We do not want their rules. We want them to remember." They made a list. Names of worlds, names of ships, names of leaders who had voted yes to the bombardment. The list was not long, but it was enough. On the last day of the 3rd month, a single message went out. It traveled on a tight, hidden beam. It reached every council station, every flagship, every homeworld relay. It appeared on screens in the Hall of Stars. It appeared in command rooms. It appeared in private quarters. The message was short. Observe, learn. Do not interfere. Then came coordinates. A single point in empty space, far from any star. Then a time, 6 hours from now, in Galactic Standard. No other words. In the Hall of Stars, the delegates read it and laughed again. "A joke," said the Krell ambassador. "They have no power to back this." The crystal beings hummed in amusement. Primitives love empty threats. The High Arbiter waved a hand. Ignore it. They bluff because they have nothing else. But some felt a small, cold feeling in their chests. They remembered the look in Rhea's eyes when she left. They remembered how she had not shouted or begged. She had just walked away. On Krell command ships, officers checked their sensors. Nothing unusual. No human fleets moving. No strange signals. "They are hiding," one captain said. "Cowards." In Varathian palaces, leaders drank fine wine and told stories about how they had crushed the upstarts. 6 hours passed. The time arrived. Nothing happened. The council members who had worried now relaxed. "See," they said, "empty words, just like always." But in the deep black between stars, things were already moving. Small probes, no bigger than a human fist, had drifted for weeks. They carried no weapons, only eyes. They watched. They waited. Now they sent one final signal. Targets confirmed, all in position. On Earth, General Vasquez stood in the command room. The screens showed the galaxy. The red dots blinked. They looked back. She spoke one word. "Begin." Far away, in the cold void, the first kinetic rods woke up. They were long spears of dense metal. No explosives, no fancy technology, just mass and speed. They had been pushed for months by quiet engines. Now they turned. They aimed. They accelerated. No light, no warning flare, just silent death, rushing through space at speeds that broke every known rule of safe travel. The first target was a Krell fortress on the edge of their space. It was a large station, full of soldiers and weapons. Shields strong enough to stop most attacks. The rod hit at a fraction below light speed. There was no explosion, just a perfect hole punched through shields, armor, and rock. The station broke apart in silence. No time for screams, no distress call, just gone. Then another, and another. 17 Krell military outposts vanished at the same moment. No debris clouds, no burning hulks. Just empty space where proud bases had stood. In the Hall of Stars, alarms began to sound. Screens filled with red warnings. Loss of contact, no signal, station destroyed. Delegates stared, mouths open, no laughter now. A Varathian aide ran to the High Arbiter. 17 bases gone, all at once. No ships detected. No weapon signature we recognize. The Krell ambassador stood up fast. His scales turned pale. "Impossible. Our defenses." Before he finished, more reports came. Shipyards, fuel depots, command centers, all hit, all gone. Then a voice cut through every speaker in the galaxy. It was calm, clear, human. "This is Earth. Phase 1 complete. The Krell Dominion no longer has the ability to send ships beyond its home system. Phase 2 begins in 6 hours. Any council vessel that enters the soul exclusion zone will be seen as an enemy. Any attempt to help the Krell will bring the same result. The voice stopped. The Hall of Stars became very quiet. Delegates looked at each other. No one spoke. The High Arbiter tried to stand tall, but his 6 arms shook a little. For the first time in thousands of years, the ancient council felt something new. Fear. The 6 hours passed in uneasy quiet across the galaxy. In the Hall of Stars, delegates tried to act normal. They spoke in low voices about small things, weather on their home planets, new trade routes, minor disputes. But their eyes kept going to the big screens on the walls. The screens stayed dark. No new alarms, no more reports of lost stations. Some started to hope. Maybe that was all, a small gasp being whispered inside its clear suit. A show of anger. One strike to save face. Now they stop. The Krell ambassador sat stiff in his seat. His red scales had lost some shine. He kept checking his personal communicator. No word from home command, no orders, just silence from the Krell fleets. The Varathian High Arbiter stood up slowly. His 6 arms moved with care, like he was trying not to show worry. "We will wait," he said to the room. "If no more happens, we declare this a minor incident. We move on." Relief spread like cool air. Then the exact second arrived. No grand announcement, no drums or lights, just sudden red flashes on every screen in the galaxy. 17 more targets vanished. Not military outposts this time. These were the heart of Krell power. Massive shipyards orbiting their main worlds. Huge rings of metal where new warships were born. Fuel stations that fed entire fleets. Repair docks full of damaged cruisers. All gone in the same heartbeat. The destruction was clean. No fireballs, no spreading wreckage. Just holes punched through everything. Shields, hulls, engines, cores. The shipyards folded in on themselves like paper torn by invisible hands. Entire orbital cities disappeared. Millions of workers, engineers, soldiers, erased without a chance to scream. In the Hall of Stars, the screens filled with loss reports, one after another. Shipyard Alpha destroyed. Orbital Forge 7 no longer registers. Fuel Depot Gamma offline. Total loss. The Krell ambassador stood so fast his chair fell. "This cannot be," he shouted. His voice cracked. "Our shields are the strongest. Our sensors see everything. How do they do this?" No one answered. Everyone stared. Then the human voice returned. It came through every speaker, every communicator, every private channel. Calm, flat, like someone reading a list. "This is Earth. Phase 1 is now fully complete. The Krell Dominion has lost all forward bases, all shipyards, all heavy repair facilities, and all fleet support structures outside its home system. They can no longer threaten anyone beyond their own stars. We did this without crossing their borders. We did this without using ships they could detect. We did this in minutes." A short pause. "Phase 2 begins now." The voice did not shout. It did not threaten. It stated facts. Panic broke out in the chamber. Delegates stood. Some ran toward the exits. Others shouted into their communicators. Orders flew in every language. Raise shields. Recall all ships. Send warnings to homeworlds. The High Arbiter tried to call for order. His voice drowned in the noise. "Calm yourselves. We must." A new image appeared on the main screen. Everyone froze. It was a single human ship. It was not small. It was not pretty. It looked like a giant black brick studded with sharp points and thick plates. No smooth curves. No glowing engines like council vessels. Just raw power. It hung in space above the Vorath homeworld. Silent, still. No weapons showing. But its main battery ports glowed a dull red. They were charging. The ship broadcast no challenge. It simply sent one thing: old footage from New Harmony. The chamber watched again. Children running through green fields, parents pulling them toward shelters. Skies turning red. Explosions swallowing towns. A little girl looked straight at the camera, eyes wide with fear, before the feed cut to black. The footage looped, over and over. No sound, just the pictures. Then the human voice spoke once more. "We asked for peace. You laughed. You burned our people. You called us primitives. Now watch." On the screen, the big human ship, the one they would later call Vengeance, fired. One shot. A thin line of white light shot down from orbit. It hit the surface of the Vorath capital continent. No massive explosion. No planet-cracking blast. Just a perfect cut. A trench opened. 200 kilometers long. 10 kilometers wide. 1,000 meters deep. Cities, roads, rivers, forests, gone in a straight line. Smoke rose in a long gray cloud. The wound glowed orange at the edges. Just enough to show what could come next. The Vorath delegates in the chamber made small, broken sounds. Some fell to their knees. Their homeworld had just been marked like an animal. The human voice continued. "This is a warning shot. We can do worse. We choose not to, for now. Every species that voted yes to the New Harmony bombardment will receive similar attention if they act against us. Every ship that helped the Krell will be hunted. Every world that profits from our pain will learn cost." Another pause. "We are not asking to join your council. We are telling you the new rules. Sol system is closed. Enter without permission and die. Harm one human life and face the same fire you gave us. No talks, no mercy, no second chances." The broadcast ended. The Hall of Stars became a tomb. No one moved for a long minute. Then slow whispers started. They did it. They really did it. One ship. One shot. How many more do they have? The Krell ambassador sat down hard. His face was blank. He stared at nothing. A crystal delegate spoke in a shaking voice. "We must respond. We must form a fleet. We must—" "With what?" Another delegate cut in. "The Krell are crippled. Our own ships are spread thin, and they hit without warning, without trace." The High Arbiter looked older suddenly. His purple skin looked dull. "We underestimated them," he said quietly. "We thought them loud and weak. We were wrong." Reports kept coming in. More strikes, smaller this time, targeted. A Krell academy that trained officers, gone. A Vorath weapons factory, gone. A trade station that sold supplies to the attackers, gone. Each hit clean. Each hit proved the same thing. Humans could reach anywhere, anytime, without being seen. In the Sol system, General Vasquez watched the screens. Her command room was quiet. People worked with focus. No cheers, no smiles, just steady hands on controls. A young officer turned to her. "Phase 2 proceeding as planned. All primary targets hit. Secondary targets ready." Vasquez nodded once. "Keep it measured. We show strength, not madness." The officer hesitated. "They will fear us now." Vasquez looked at the map. Red dots blinked less. Many had turned gray, destroyed. "They should," she said. On distant worlds, leaders watched the same feeds. They saw the black ship above Vorath. They saw the trench. They saw the looped images of burning children. Some ordered their fleets to stand down. Some closed their borders. Some sent quiet messages through back channels. "We had no part in New Harmony. We seek no quarrel." Others stayed silent, too afraid to speak. In empty space, small human drones drifted. They watched. They waited for any sign of movement towards Sol. None came. The galaxy held its breath, and Earth, the small blue world they had mocked, became something new in their minds. Not a primitive child, a quiet hunter. one that had finally shown its teeth. The galaxy had never felt so small. After the warning shot above Vorath, every species watched their skies with new fear. Ships stayed in dock. Fleets pulled back to home orbits. Trade convoys waited in safe zones. No one wanted to be the next target. The old confidence was gone. In its place came whispers. Humans can hit anywhere. They see everything. They do not warn twice. Phase 2 did not wait for anyone to recover. It started small, but sharp. A Krell training academy on a quiet moon vanished in the night. One moment the lights of classrooms glowed. The next, a perfect circle of nothing sat where buildings had stood. No crater, no rubble, just gone. The young officers who would have led future fleets never got the chance. Then came the supply lines. Freighters carrying rare metals to Krell worlds disappeared mid-jump. Not destroyed in battle, simply erased from sensors. Empty space where convoys should be. The Krell economy began to choke. Factories slowed. Workers stood idle. Leaders shouted orders that no one could follow. Vorath felt it next. A large weapons plant on their second moon turned silent. Satellites showed only smoke rising from a flat plain. The plant had made shields and cannons for their navy. Now, it made nothing. The Vorath Council met in panic. "We must negotiate," one elder said. "We must beg." But no one knew how to reach the humans. The channels stayed dead. Other species who had voted yes to the bombardment received their own lessons. A crystal world lost its main energy refinery in a single flash. The beings who lived there dimmed like dying stars. They had sold fuel to the Krell attackers. Now they paid. A methane-breathing collective saw 3 of their jump gates collapse. Gates that connected their scattered colonies. Travelers were trapped. Families separated. The cost of helping the Krell became clear. Every strike followed the same rules. No dead civilians unless they worked in military places. No long speeches, just results. Humans did not destroy whole planets. They cut the muscles. They broke the bones of war machines. They left the body alive to feel the pain. In deep space, the black ship Vengeance moved again. It did not rush. It drifted like a shadow. Council sensors could not track it well. When they did catch a glimpse, the ship was already gone. It appeared above a Krell repair yard, hidden in an asteroid belt. The yard fixed damaged cruisers after raids. Workers hurried to finish jobs. Alarms screamed too late. Vengeance fired twice. 2 thin lances of light. The yard split open like a cracked egg. Atmosphere vented. Lights died. The ship moved on before anyone could respond. On smaller scales, swarms appeared. Tiny drones no bigger than birds. Millions of them. They launched from hidden carriers far outside systems. The drones were cheap, simple, made in factories on Earth and Mars. They carried no big guns, just small cutters and smart brains. They slipped past shields like insects through cracks. They boarded ships in the middle of jumps. They found command decks. They cut power. They opened airlocks. Crews fought back with hand weapons. But the drones kept coming, wave after wave. Ships went dark, one by one. Some drifted forever. Some crashed on moons. The crews who survived told stories of small machines that never stopped, that felt no fear, that killed without anger. One Vorath cruiser tried to run. It jumped toward a safe port. The drones followed through the jump. They appeared inside the hull. The captain sent a final message. They are already here. Then silence. In the Hall of Stars, the chamber looked half empty. Many seats stayed vacant. Delegates who once spoke loud now sent lower officers. Some species sent no one at all. Fear kept them home. The High Arbiter called an emergency meeting. They sat far apart. No one wanted to be close to anyone who might draw human attention. The main screen lit up without warning. A human appeared. Not Ambassador Reyes. This was a different man. Tall, thin, face hard like carved stone. He wore a plain black uniform, no medals, no rank signs, just the small blue earth symbol on his chest. He spoke without introduction. We see your fear. Good. You should be afraid. You burned 4 million of our people. You laughed while they died. You thought us weak because we did not strike back right away. You were wrong. He paused. His eyes looked straight through the camera. Every action has a price. You paid the first part. More will come if needed. We have lists, names, ships, worlds. We know who voted, who profited, who watched and did nothing. Some of you sit in this room now. A few delegates shifted in their seats. The man continued. We do not want your membership. We do not want your protection. We want one thing. Leave us alone. Our ships stay in our space. Our people stay safe. Any move against us brings the same answer. No debates, no courts, just fire. He leaned forward slightly. You called us barbarians. You were right about one thing. We remember how to fight dirty. We remember how to make it hurt. We remember how to win. You forgot that lesson. We teach it now. The image changed. It showed new harmony again. But this time, new footage. From ground cameras that survived longer. A father carried his daughter through flames. He fell. She cried. The camera shook, then black. The man returned. That is what you did. This is what we do back. The screen went dark. No one in the chamber spoke for a long time. Then a small sound. A crystal delegate began to hum a low, sad note. Others joined. It was their way of mourning. Soon the room filled with quiet sounds of grief and fear. The High Arbiter stood. His voice was weak. We must end this, he said. We must find a way. How? Someone asked. They do not answer calls. They do not negotiate. A Krell officer, one of the few left, spoke bitterly. We attack. We gather what remains. We strike Saul. The room looked at him like he had lost his mind. You want more? The crystal being asked. You want them to stop holding back? The Krell said nothing. He sat down. Outside the chamber, on 100 worlds, people watched the broadcast. They saw the human's face. They saw the fire in his eyes. They saw the pictures of dead children. Some prayed to their gods. Some hid in shelters. Some wrote messages they never sent. We are sorry. But Earth did not listen yet. In the Sol system, General Vasquez stood in her command room. Screens showed green lights. Losses on the human side, 0. No ships lost. No soldiers dead. An aide approached. Phase 2 almost complete. Secondary strikes ready if needed. Vasquez looked at the galaxy map. Fewer red dots, many gray. Send the final message, she said. A new broadcast went out. Short, clear. To all who hear this, the time of lessons is not over, but we pause, we watch. Step wrong, and we finish what we started. Your council can keep its stars. We keep ours. Cross the line, and there will be no line left. The message repeated on every frequency. Then silence from Earth again. The galaxy waited. No one laughed anymore. No one called humans primitive. They called them something else now. The ones who waited. The ones who answered. The ones who made the old powers speechless. And in the quiet between stars, the black ship Vengeance turned slowly. It pointed toward home. But its weapons stayed warm. Just in case. The Hall of Stars looked empty now. Many seats stayed empty. Delegates who once filled the chamber with loud voices and bright colors were gone. Some hid on their homeworlds. Some sent messages saying they were sick. Some simply did not come. Fear had taken their places. The few who sat there spoke in whispers. No one wanted to be heard too clearly. No one wanted to say the wrong thing. The big screens on the walls stayed dark most of the time. When they lit up, they showed only bad news. More lost ships, more silent stations, More worlds with new scars from clean, straight cuts. The Varathian High Arbiter sat in his high seat. His 6 arms rested heavy on the arms of the chair. His purple skin looked dull, like old cloth left in the sun too long. He had not slept well. None of them had. A low bell rang. The emergency session began. Only 15 beings attended. That was less than half of what used to fill the room. Their ambassador had not been seen since the last broadcast. Rumors said he locked himself in his quarters and refused food. The High Arbiter spoke first. His voice sounded thin. "We must decide what to do," he said. "Humanity has changed the balance. We cannot ignore this." A small crystal delegate answered. Its voice rang like broken glass. "Changed? They have broken it. Our fleets are afraid to leave orbit. Our trade stops. Our people ask why the Council cannot protect them." Murmurs rose. Some agreed. Some just looked down. A tall insectoid with clicking mandibles spoke next. "We should send a fleet. Show strength. Remind them we are many." The room went quiet. Then a methane breather in its clear suit bubbled a laugh, short and bitter. "With what fleet?" it asked. "The Krell lost most of theirs. Our ships stay home because we fear the next black brick that appears above our cities. You want to send what remains to Sol? To die?" No one answered that. The High Arbiter tried again. "We could open talks, offer terms, reparations for New Harmony, a seat for them, anything." A new voice cut through. Calm, cold, human. Everyone turned. A hollow appeared in the center of the chamber. No warning, no request, just there. The man from the fore stood tall in his plain black uniform. Same hard face, same steady eyes. The earth symbol on his chest looked bigger now. He did not wait for permission to speak. "We are not here to bargain," he said. "We are here to inform." The delegates froze. The man continued. "You burned our colony. You killed our people. You laughed in this room while children died. We answered. We took your tools of war. We marked your worlds. We showed you what happens when you push too far." He paused, looked around the chamber as if he could see each face. "Now hear the new rules. Sol system is closed. No council ship enters. No probe, no scout, no trader without our permission. Any violation means destruction. No warning, no second chance." He leaned forward a little. "Any species that harms a human, anywhere, will face the same response you have seen. Not words, not sanctions, action. Fast, final." A few delegates shifted. One tried to speak. The human raised a hand. The room stayed silent. "We do not want your council," he said. "We do not want your laws. We do not want your protection. We have our own, and we enforce them." The hollow showed new images. Not of death this time. Of quiet strength. Earth from space, blue and white and calm. Mars shipyards glowing with lights. Asteroid bases turning slowly. Small drones moving in patterns like schools of fish. And the black ship Vengeance, hanging in deep space, engines dark, but ready. "Look," the man said. "This is what you mocked. This is what you burned. This is what answers now." The images faded. "One last thing," he said. "We remember. We do not forget New Harmony. We do not forgive those who cheered. Some of you sit here. Some of you voted yes. Some of you watched and stayed quiet. That stays in our records. Step wrong again, and your name comes to the top of the list." He looked straight ahead. That is all. The hollow vanished. The chamber stayed silent for a long time. No one moved. No one spoke. The air felt thick. Then the High Arbiter stood slowly. His voice cracked when he spoke. "The motion before us is simple. Do we accept these terms?" No one answered right away. A crystal being spoke first, soft, tired. "We have no choice." One by one, others nodded, some with heads low, some with shaking hands. The vote passed without debate. Silence became agreement. The council did not declare war. It did not send fleets. It did not make speeches of defiance. It simply accepted. Earth did not join the council. The council no longer invited Earth. Instead, a new line appeared on galactic maps, a wide circle around the Sol system, marked in red, labeled Exclusion Zone, Do Not Enter. Ships that once traveled freely now took long ways around. Traders whispered about human patrols that appeared from nowhere. Leaders on many worlds taught their children new stories, stories about the small blue world that woke up angry. Years passed. The galaxy changed slowly. Some species rebuilt what they lost, carefully, quietly. They made sure no weapon pointed towards Sol. Others studied human history in secret. They read about old wars on Earth, about cities burned, about weapons that could end worlds, about people who fought with nothing and still won. They learned why humans had stayed quiet so long. Not weakness, restraint. The kind that comes from knowing what you can do, and choosing not to until you must. On Earth, life went on. People rebuilt new harmony. New fields grew. New children played. But the scars stayed in memory. In the command room under the mountain, General Vasquez retired. She passed her post to a younger officer. She looked at the galaxy map one last time. Few red dots left. Most gray or green, neutral. She smiled, small, tired. They learned, she said. The new officer nodded. And we watch, he answered. In the Hall of Stars, the High Arbiter grew old. One day he stepped down. A new leader took his place, younger, more careful. The chamber filled again over time. Voices returned, but softer. No one laughed at newcomers anymore. No one called any species primitive, because everyone remembered one truth. Humans could be quiet. Humans could wait. But when humans answered, the galaxy listened and stayed speechless.